Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Here we are, Thursday's lesson, and don't worry, I do have it in my head that this lesson is going to be slightly shorter because I do think when I sort of went through my timings yesterday that was quite a long lesson. Okay, so on the left of this screen you've got all the gorgeous learning that we've done so far. So context, family honour, the need to fight to protect the honour of your family, patriarchal society, men were in charge, attitudes to women, women were sort of objects, things for men to own, religion, very religious time in history, courtly love, the idea of the correct way to go about approaching a father, and loving a woman, and then fate, the idea that things are predestined for us, they're decided for us before we're born. Then we looked at the prologue. Remember, the prologue is in sonnet form. That means it's 14 lines long, and it's appropriate because sonnets were the traditional form of love poetry. Act 1, Scene 1, divided into two halves. The first half, the theme of conflict with the fight. The second half, the theme of love with Romeo. Act 1, Scene 2, we meet Capulet and Paris. They talk about Paris not marrying Juliet at the moment. Capulet's planning a party, and then that pivotal moment where the servant can't read. Romeo finds out Rosaline's going to be at the party. And he and Benvolio decide they're going to go. Okay, yesterday's lesson then. Yesterday's lesson was Act 1, Scene 2, and we were introduced to the three main women of the play, Lady Capulet, the nurse, and Juliet. Lady Capulet, we saw in that scene, is a very distant mother. There's no show of love or concern or care, particularly for her daughter. They're talking about marriage, but it's a very cold, distant, business-like conversation. The nurse is more like a mother to Juliet. Remember, she was originally the wet nurse, employed by the family. She stayed with Juliet throughout her life, but is paid to do so. And she had those lovely terms for Juliet at the beginning, where she called her a lamb and a ladybird, which show the level of her affection for Juliet, even though she isn't her own daughter. Okay, so what we're going to do today is you're going to write me another paragraph, but that is going to be your job for today. Okay, I'm going to give you some sentence openers like I did when you wrote your paragraph about Capulet. I want you to use the time well, though. Don't just quickly scribble something on the page. I want you to spend about 15 minutes creating that detailed paragraph showing me that you understand how Shakespeare has used language to introduce the character of Lady Capulet and to suggest things about the relationship between her and her daughter. Okay, on to the next slide. You need your pink exercise books. Okay, so if you haven't got them with you, pause me and go and find them. I would like you to write today's date in your pink exercise book, and then I would like you to write the title, How Does Shakespeare Present Lady Capulet as a Mother in Act 1, Scene 3? And I'd like you to underline that. When you have done that, I want you then to leave a line or two, and I want you to write out the two targets that I am going to have set you. So for some of you, it might be one target, but the one or two targets that I have set you after you've done your Capulet paragraph in Tuesday's lesson. So Tuesday, you'll have sat down, done the video lesson and written a Capulet paragraph, which you will have put on Teams for me to mark. By now, I have marked that paragraph and I will have given you one or two targets to improve, and I want you to write those 2 targets down, please, underneath your title for today before you write the paragraph. So pause me, write the title and write your 2 paragraphs down. And finally for today, you're now going to write that Lady Capulet paragraph, focusing on everything that I've taught you and that you have learnt, but also making sure that you are focusing on improving the targets that I have set you. So if I've said, yeah, you've forgotten subject terminology, make sure your subject terminology is in there. If I've said you haven't used the word Shakespeare enough, put Shakespeare in there more often. If I've said you need to refer to the connotations of a word, then you need to do that. All right, you're all sensible, intelligent people. I know it's a bit difficult working from home, but hopefully you've all found your groove thing now and you've got your systems in place, so you're finding it a bit easier as we head towards the end of the second week. So sentence openers are here. I've given you the first full sentence to show you the first sentence is not the evidence, this is the idea that I'm going to write about, and then you have 4 sentence openers with which to complete your paragraph. I expect this paragraph to take you somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Okay, you don't need to send me this one at present. We'll leave that. I'll have a look at it in your books when I finally get back to seeing you face to face. Okay, 1 piece of work a week is sufficient for me to see. When you've finished it, that's it. You are done. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow for the week's final lesson. Bye. Okay, well done everybody. Hopefully your Romeo and Juliet text is starting to look quite busy. You're getting a feel for the fact that Shakespeare's language isn't as difficult as you thought it was. That you can actually sit there and work out some of what he's writing on his own. Excellent. So if you can get those paragraphs to me about Capulet, so today's Tuesday's lesson. So if I could have those paragraphs straight away, because they're easy to upload onto Teams, but certainly during the day on Wednesday, so that I can get those commented on and back to you. Okay, see you tomorrow.